Okay, hello again. This is now tarot lesson number 87. And someone left a comment. I think his name is Cemal. And he left a comment saying the tarot shows our ability. Is this a true question? So I want to look at that. So partly, I'm not quite sure what the question means. I'm thinking he means, will the tarot show if you have ability with reading tarot cards? And that's part of it. Also, is it a true question? And I'd like to say, if that's what you want to know, then it's a true question. I think we ought to start from the position that if you think of the idea in the first place, there was a good reason that you thought of it. So what you do is you explore and see if it works out well, or if you enjoy it, or if you don't enjoy it. At least you're learning something from making an effort or trying to see how it works out. So if you want to know about your ability with reading tarot cards, and you want to ask the tarot, if that's what you thought, then try it and see. Because people will sometimes ask me questions, is it a good idea to do such and such? And I will often reply, the question isn't so much, is it a good idea? Or is the project going to work? The question really is, how am I going to make it work? And I think if we take an active role in our own thinking, then why not? And see where it leads. Because you can have the idea that you want to do something, and you try it and you discover you don't actually enjoy it. And maybe it was an idea that people gave you when you were 5 or 10 years old. And in the back of your mind, you've always thought, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. Then you try it and discover you don't actually like it. So you can get rid of that doubt or whatever it was that was holding you back. But now you know because you tried it. So if you're going to do this reading for yourself, or even if you're going to do a reading for somebody else, I think step number 1 is relax. I was talking to somebody a while ago about, he was taking blood pressure readings at home, and he discovered that if you sit down to take a blood pressure and you put something on your upper arm and then you record the numbers, if you just do it, you get a high reading. But if you take 2 or 3 minutes and relax, deliberately relax, then you get a more accurate reading because you're relaxed. And I think it's the same with the tarot. If you're going to do a reading for yourself or for somebody else, take the time of shuffling before you do the reading to relax, knowing that, okay, I'm going to ask a question, and I'm going to get cards that will come up, and maybe I won't know exactly what to say immediately, but I'm going to figure it out. And maybe you talk yourself into it, or you remind yourself that it's not the first time you've looked at a card. So you've got some background, and you maybe talk to yourself a little bit, or you do some deep breathing, breathe in and out a few times just to relax, so that when you actually pick a card, you're not going to be freaked out by it, you're not going to be shocked. Or if you get the Ace of Swords, you're not going to panic, because you're relaxed and you know that it's just a card. It's giving you information, and it's up to you what use you make of the information. So let's say we're Cemal, and we want to know, am I going to be good with the tarot? So I'm going to pick it. So the different ways of approaching it. Let's say that your question is, I'm not sure about this, whatever it happens to be. I'm not sure. Give me some information about the thing I'm not sure about. So you maybe lay them like that, and you take a card, and you turn the first card, and we get the 5 of Cups. So we look at the card, and we don't jump to a conclusion about what it means. We look and see what's going on in the card. So here we've got somebody, we've got 3 cups that have been knocked over or that have been spilled and 2 that remain. So with this project or with this idea that you're thinking about, you can see the good and the bad, or you're focusing on what's wrong or what's weak or what's not going to work. But the point about this card coming up is it's important for you to turn your gaze in a different direction and maybe focus on what's good. A while ago, there's a fellow called Peter Drucker who wrote a book called The Effective Executive. And he talks about the 5 rules to be effective. And rule number 1 is know where your time goes. And rule number 2 is focus on results, not the work to be done. And rule number 3 is you build on strength, not on weakness. You don't try and fix the weakness. You build on what's strong and what's good and what works. And maybe this is what you do with your project you're not sure about. You figure out, okay, what's good, what's strong, what's in place, what's already working well, and I'm going to take that activity and I'm going to make it even better. I'm not going to look and see, okay, where am I weak, where am I going wrong, and try and make it better, try and fix it. I'm going to, following Peter Drucker, if you want to be effective and get things done, you discover or identify where you're strong and build on that and forget about the weaknesses. And maybe this is what the 5 of Cups shows. So if this is the answer to Cemal's question about does the tarot show his ability with the tarot, then the answer is we could say it's upright. So yes, he's got ability, but don't focus on what isn't good or what's wrong or the bad side of the card. Change your starting point and understand that you're meant to look at a card not for what's wrong, but for what's good in the situation. So maybe you take one card and you've got your question and I'm not sure about this. What should I do? And you turn another card, and here we get the 8 of Swords. So here we've got somebody who's stuck. But because we relax, we're not going to panic. We're not going to think we're doomed. It's never going to work. I'm always going to be trapped. You look and you think, okay, at the moment I'm asking about a particular project and I'm not sure about it and I am trapped. I'm unable to move. I'm not sure about what direction to go in. So it's an accurate description of the kind of situation that you're in because of the picture on the card. So what do? You don't take action, because if you take action in this position, you're going to walk into a sword, or you're going to cut yourself, or you're going to fall over, or you're going to lose your balance, or something like that. Now is not the time to take action. Now is the time to think, because we've got what else can you do if you're in this situation? You can think and imagine. And I happened to watch a video earlier this morning about mathematics, and Einstein talked about how the most important thing is not knowledge, because knowledge is limited. You're always going to come to the end of it, but imagination is unlimited. And so with the 8 of Swords here, maybe the point or the key idea for the card is, when it comes to your project, first use your imagination and see what you can come up with, what possibilities you haven't thought of, and then take action. But if you take action before you've imagined what could happen, then it's not going to work, because of the nature of the card of somebody stuck and trapped and confined and limited. So I said in Cemal's question, I said, it's a true question, because if that's what you want to know, it's a true question. But maybe pick 3 cards and see what you get. And so I gave an example there of picking 1 card, and I suppose we don't really need any more than 1 card, because I'm assuming that the tarot is going to give you the right answer. So 1 card is going to give you the answer. if you pick 3, you're going to get more details maybe. So maybe what we do, or what if we want to know what's my ability with the tarot, for instance, and you pick 3 cards, you could do past, present, and future. So that's you in the past, that's you now, and that's you in the future. But if we look at 3 cards, just to see what 3 cards come up, and then we can get an idea of each individual influence, and then what happens when you put them all together. So the Lovers. Okay, so I don't quite know what the question is, but is it so because the card is upright? Yes, you have ability, and how do you develop it? Maybe with the Lovers, you're going to be good at relationship questions, because we've got Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. Or maybe you're going to be good at helping, because in older decks the Lovers used to be the 2 paths and a young man standing at crossroads. On one side is his wife and the other is his mother, and he's meant to choose between doing what he's been brought up to do or doing something new and different and creative, represented by the wife. So maybe when it comes to the tarot, you're good at helping people make decisions that when they find themselves at crossroads, you are going to be good at helping them to make a decision. Or maybe you're going to be good in relationship questions. Maybe you've got a built-in ability to understand why people behave the way they behave, and you'll give good advice, or you'll give good suggestions if somebody is in a difficult relationship or a difficult stage of a relationship and they're not sure what to do. The kinds of information you give them, or the kinds of things that you say, will be valuable and useful for them. So that's one thing. Also, with the 4 of Pentacles, so do you have ability? Because it's upright, we have to say yes, but what else do we say? And nothing comes to mind, so I'm just going to talk about the card, and I'm going and see where my thinking leads, or where my speaking leads me to. And so we've got somebody, it looks like the person is secure in their knowledge, because he's sitting confident. Well, he's sitting he's not uncertain. So I think so maybe the point is, when you're doing a tarot reading, talk about what you know about or what you're sure about, because this person looks like he's got an idea of what he's doing, or he knows what he cares about. He's got a foundation because his feet are on the coins. So it's a bit like there's confidence, quiet confidence in this 4 of Pentacles. So maybe the point is, if you talk about things you don't know, then you're going to get into trouble. So don't talk about things you don't know. So if somebody wants to know about medical problems, or they've got a medical question and you don't know anything about medicine, say, I'm sorry, I can't answer that question, rather than think, I have to answer the question, even if it's something I don't really know anything about. So maybe we've got, on the one hand, you can help people make decisions, but at the same time, don't talk about things you don't understand. Or if you do talk about something you don't understand, say to the person, I don't really know what I'm talking about, but blah, blah, blah. And then the third card I get is the 2 of Cups reversed. So what does this mean? If it has to do with, somehow it seems like a contradiction, the 2 of Cups reversed with the Lovers. Because we've got a man and a woman, a male and a female, upside down, upright. So, what to say about that? Do you have ability? Maybe it means don't become emotionally involved in the question. Because we've got 2 people, and there's emotion, there's a lion and ego. So maybe the point is, when it comes to reading cards, don't let your ego, the lion, control what you say or how you react to circumstances, or how you think about what you're doing. And I suppose I mean, it's like maybe what it has to do with is people ask questions and they're kind of emotional about the question they're asking about. So don't you, the reader, become emotionally involved in the situation. And it's a bit like I'm getting a divorce and I'm upset. Okay, you're getting the divorce and you're upset, but it's not going to help if I get upset as well. If the reader gets upset or gets sucked into the emotionality or the emotional upset of the question or the answer. So maybe what you do is, so you've got two things going for you. You're good at figuring out what to do next. Somebody at crossroads. You're good at what you know about, but watch out that you don't get sucked into the emotion of the situation. I lost the thought that I had a moment ago. So I guess I guess I'm stuck. So anyway, that's the kind of thing you can do if you're not sure about something. First relax, and then pick one card, or maybe you pick 3 cards, and you look at them and see what you get, rather than being thrown by the cards that come up. You can if you want, but it doesn't really do you any good. But that's the reason for relaxing beforehand, so that you can turn a card, and if you get the Tower reversed, you don't panic, or if you get the 8 of Swords, you don't panic and assume the worst, but you're being kind of objective. And maybe that's what I was thinking of with the 2 of Cups reversed. You have to be objective, where you think, okay, there's the man and the woman, and they're getting divorced. So what does the man want? What does the woman want? What have you learned from the situation? And so you address what's going on, or what happened, or what's happening, and you figure out how to deal with it. There's something about, maybe it has to do with facing fear. If you're afraid of something, the only thing you can do is actually face it. Or if you face it, you discover most of the time that it wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be. So there's a certain value in, if you're afraid of doing something, just make yourself do it. And then you're stronger, you're better, because you faced the fear. I know that's easy for me to say, but it's probably a good idea. I mean, I'm thinking of me at the times when there was something I didn't want to do, and I just made myself do it. And you discover, and you think, what was the matter with me? Why did I put off doing that thing that really ended up being not so bad? And there's fear, F-E-A-R. Somebody, I can't remember who it was exactly, but F-E-A-R, future experiences appearing real. And the thing about it is, it's future experiences. You haven't had it yet. You haven't gone through it yet. But your imagination is making it appear really bad. Whereas if you actually go through with it, you discover it wasn't as bad as you imagined it was going to be. Okay, so that is my presentation for today. So hope you enjoyed that. And I guess I'll talk to you in a few days. So have a nice day. Okay, bye-bye.